Okay, folks, here we are again. More painting. Went out of town today. Did a couple things. One of them was something I've been wanting to do for a couple weeks. There's a place in Jacksonville called the Chamblin Book Mine. It's a huge building that's almost kind of like a house, but it's really about the size of maybe three houses, all stuck together with books upon books upon books. And I wanted to go there without being interrupted by someone telling me that I needed to be done in an hour or something like that. And I scoured it well, and there wasn't really anything I needed. I picked up two things. One of them I already had, and these books that are pretty cool. Yay, painting with brushes. This is a book that I picked up a while ago. There's actually three of them that I have. I have the Chinese Emperors, the Roman Republic, and the Roman Emperor one. You got any of these, Joe? Tell me if you don't. Anyhow, I had picked this up for $10, and I really didn't want to pick this one up when I did because it has stuff highlighted, underlined, words underlined. Not all, just like the first quarter of the book, maybe the first fifth of the book. And it kind of drove me crazy, but it was the only copy that they had at the time. So, anyhow, I picked it up. I figured it was only $10 or whatever. Well, I went back today, and they had another copy of it, also for $10, without all the highlighting, without all the underlining. So, Joe, when you come Monday, I'm giving you my copy that's got the lines on it. It's a great book. Anyhow, this has got your name on it. I'm going to put it in the bag here. What am I going to do? Wait till I go back to Jacksonville, get $1 credit or something? It's worth every bit, $10. But they had another copy of it, so I'm like, F it. I'm going to get it. The prices there on stuff was all over the place. Those things, that's like too cheap. A book like that, $10 is too cheap. And the Ospreys weren't really that big of a deal. They only retail for like $20, and they were going for like 15. So I picked up this one because I don't know, maybe some inspiration for some of the tanks I got coming up. Downfall 1945, and it is literally like the last weeks of the war. So we've got JS2s and T-34-85s and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. CeeLo Heights. That kind of stuff. So, how much was this? No, it didn't say. I don't know. I got both of them. I guess this was $13. It ended up being like $23 or something. So, anyhow, I'll take it. This is all I picked up. I scoured and scoured and scoured and scoured and scoured, and there wasn't anything I needed. So, a lot of books that are just worthless by today's standards. The internet's kind of ruined a lot of things, like those old Schiffer publications on like tanks and stuff. They got black and white pictures you can barely see. Like, I got better stuff you can get on the internet. So, nothing on these guys or anyhow. So this is where we left off this morning. Dull coating these two things. God, this thing is so heavy. I think it turned out really well. Just put some grass on them, and we can put them in the case and work on something else. Work on more Panzers. can work on more Panzers. Yeah, because we painted these guys this morning with a wash. Okay, so what did we use for the stuff on these? We had some lowland shrubs. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2 on each one. 5, 6. And what's the other color we use? It's the one with the Hello Happy Trees. Which actually, I meant to get them for my 15s. I don't know if they're very useful for the 15s, but they work well for this. Shrubbery, one that's not too expensive. All right, and we need to get some Elmers. Lots of Nazi books there. You know, like SS this and SS that and SS the other thing, and I'm like, screw those guys. And they didn't even hunt any of my people down. I'm just saying that, I don't know. I'm no wereaboo. I think I said that right. Wereaboo, where are you? Norik, hello! If you're gonna stick around, I got something for you. I got something for you. Let's finish these guys, because man, they turn out really nice. I'm really happy with them. I'm so happy I want to do more. Have to hit that like bump you... Huh? I don't know what that is. I've never seen a thing that come up. A comment that came up and then disappeared. I didn't even see who it was. Oh well. Try again. Maybe you showed up at the wrong place. Yeah, we got something. I got something for you. No. No, I'm fresh out of those. Joseph B. Button. You misspelled button and deleted it. Yeah, it happens. I wouldn't want things misspelled either. I'm a really good speller, so I don't like seeing things misspelled. I got something just for you. We're going to do it next. After this. All right, we got to put some of these. Let's get a... Here we go. You take the glasses on, you take them off. You take them off, you put them on. You take them off. How to go insane in one evening. And I got a video that I filmed today, and it's processing right now, of a place I stopped by, which may interest some of you. It's World War II related-ish. And maybe you'll like it. And I shot it in 4K. Well, I think it's always shot in 4K. The problem is it's uploaded, but I uploaded it in 4K. It's about half hour long. It wasn't too long. I figured I could do that and get away with it. And let's see what this 4K looks like. Oh, Joseph B. Yes. Well, don't give away my video. I didn't get a chance to go inside. No, it was too late. It was too late. I'm like, I can do that for a little. I didn't even get a chance. I didn't even get a chance to. I didn't even get a chance to. I didn't even get a chance to do the Vietnam and the Gulf War stuff. All right, well, Joseph left the cat out of the bag. So I met Joseph down at Camp Blanding, which is between here and Jacksonville. And I've been wanting to do that and do a walkthrough on their vehicles and their memorial site. And I shot a video there. It's about 30 minutes long. It's uploaded. It's just being processed right now in 4K. And it should be up tonight. And Joseph was there with his dad, and he saw that I was doing a monologue and talking to myself. And I wasn't talking to myself. I was talking to 1,600 people that weren't there. So we've got that video coming up, and hopefully you'll like it. We got some tanks in there and other things. And I've been wanting to do that for a while. I just hadn't gotten around to being able to do it. But I ran out of time. I really just ran out of time. And I had to be back by a certain time because it's my daughter's homecoming. And I needed to be here by a certain time to do something with her. So, but no, I didn't get a chance to go inside of the museum. So we'll have to do that next time. And I didn't do the more modern vehicles. So it happens. Got to leave something for another time. But I talked to Joseph there and his dad for a while. That was cool. Told him about this channel. I see you must have rung the bell to know that I was on, so that's good. Told you I was going to be on tonight. This is what I do. Forget watching television. This is a lot more. This is a lot more useful. So, what we've got here is a couple of vehicles that I've had about 20 years, and they're actually really poor quality. 1/72nd scale, and this is a German armored car and a German assault gun. Does that bookstore have an online website to shop from? It does, but you can't search for things. Like it'll say you can't find anything there. So I think more museums need to consider YouTube channels giving virtual tours to intrigue people to go inside them in person. Yeah, they have a little museum there. It's only open from noon to 4, and by the time I was done with the videos, it was damn near 4, and I needed to get on the road. So, and I couldn't get there earlier because I was tied up doing the Jacksonville stuff. So, leave something for another day, you know. I was going to ask them if they minded me taking a video there, but I didn't want them to think that, I don't know, some people get weird about stuff like that. Like when I went to Historicon, I caught some of the guys from Little Wars on video, and other than the one guy that I talked to, who seemed pretty cool, the other guys were almost like being evasive. They were like, "Oh my God, you're filming us!" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not gonna make rude videos of you or bring you in some kind of light that I don't do stuff like that. I guess they don't know. There's enough sinister, creepy people in the world, but oh well." It may not be the most professional thing you've ever seen. As a matter of fact, I will guarantee it's not the most professional thing you've seen because, I don't do that for a living. And I'm still a noob at it, even though I've done, nope, let's put a different color there and mix it up a little bit. It's not what I do. As a matter of fact, I tried using my gimbal and it was unsuccessful. But the gimbal I have is actually compatible with an earlier phone that that I used to have, and this new phone is too big for it. So it goes. But I didn't even need one. It's just something that my wife got me a couple years ago. Says, here, this will be good for your videos. I'm like, I didn't even need this, but okay. And I haven't used it very much at all. And now I can't because the phone is too heavy. I gotta buy an old phone. Problem is my old phone burned up. It actually caught fire. The plug caught fire and melted inside the power. Well, you're just being difficult. In the charging port. So that was that. The phone actually didn't catch fire. It was the cord got really hot. And the plastic that was around the end of it melted inside of it, and it's not usable. All right, we'll put one of these back here in the back, and we're not going to put it in the center. We'll put it over here. But yeah, I scoured that store, and I don't have a big urge to buy stuff. You know, I don't like buying things and then not do anything with them. So, just got those 2 books. All right, we got to put a little grass on that, but let's go ahead and do all the tufts here. Man, this thing's heavy. Went in there for a little more before. My dad was talking to people who were there. Little Wars always came off as a very inclusive group to me. Had a laptop where my AC adapter caught fire while it was in my lap. That was definitely not fun. Yeah. I'm not going to talk bad about the Little Wars guys. They seem alright. I just thought it was kind of like, you know, they were a little skittish, let's put it that way. I'm like, for people that are on video all the time, but then you know what? If I put you on video, it's going to be in an unedited video. So if you are someone who's in a video all the time, and like, let's say a famous person, right? Like, let's say, and I don't follow famous people around. I don't really care about them at all. But if I was to catch somebody who was famous in a video, they may not be in the light that they want because I don't edit my stuff. So, you know, if they show up picking their nose, they're going to show up in the video picking their nose. And that may not be that may not be what they want to portray. But it is reality. It is a reality show. I like most of their stuff. I did not like the Paris one. It was way too staged. It just seemed way too staged. But, you know, hey, they can do whatever they want. It's their channel. And I think they do a good service to get people interested in wargaming that might not know about it. I just don't go that track because it's too much work. I got figures I got to paint. I don't have time for that. Had a pillow on my lap that thankfully deflected the burst of flames. Yeah. Some of that stuff, you know, the laptop may be solid, but who knows where the adapter's made. Made by some third party. I was reading something about, well, who knows if it's true, but about phones catching fire. Not necessarily all the Samsung Notes, which is funny because that's exactly what I would have gotten, like, on my last upgrade. And I didn't have them, or the upgrade before last. But they had, this is the part where we get to make a mess. Whoopee! They had a problem with these phones that were catching fire, and you would think it was like the situation you described. You used a charger, the charger got too warm, and the plastic that was around it actually got too hot, and that caught fire, or the charger caught fire. That's not the case. The case was they were not being used. So if you had like a phone that was in a drawer and it wasn't being used, somehow that's what was catching it to become incendiary, which is, or explode or something. That doesn't make any sense. I guess they would swell up, and it doesn't make any sense to my mind. Let's put it that way. Maybe somebody who's into electronics or something like that, that makes sense to them. But to me, something not being used, being dangerous, is like, doesn't make any sense. That's kind of like, you know, the guy shot himself. Why? The bullet didn't have the gun didn't have a bullet in it. Like, sorry, I missed that logic class, you know. But anyhow, that is what the article said. So I saw it, I heard it on the internet, so it must be true. I actually even found a book on wargaming. It was a book by 1 Hour War Games. And I looked through it, and I'm like, this has got no value. I tried to find value in it. No. It's not really for me. Way too generic. All right, let's see how this is looking. We'll have to take some appropriate pictures with these guys. And of course, the figures that go with this are this size. I still have to do his base. I have to redo his base from the 90s. And now we'll do the grass on this. Like the World War II stuff in 3mm, the Battle of Berlin, and Operation Martlet. I don't know that one. We're good and had nice tables to go with the miniatures. That happened like 16 years ago, and since then I never put my laptop on my lap. The only way I think it could explode is if it had a battery charge. But even then, my old phone never blew up. It was almost like they said they were swelling up. I don't know. I'm not a science guy, so... Talk to me about history and maps, and I'm your guy. Trust the science, man. Yeah, you got to understand it before you can trust it. I like dinosaurs. Does that count as science? First thing I was into as a kid was dinosaurs. I would have flipped out if something like Jurassic Park was around back then. What do we have to suffer with? Shit like Land of the Lost. Just an abortion of a show. But I watched it as a kid because I wanted to see some freaking dinosaurs, even though it was some clown in a rubber suit. We'll get the vacuum out here in a second. The container I have of these, I got them when I got my first DBA Army. So I've had it like 18 years. And I still have plenty of it. I don't know what I got to do to get rid of this stuff. Do I live stream the games I play in? Yes. Yes, I like to do that. Oh, live stream. No, I can't. Because, so, let's see. How can I explain this so it's easy to understand? Because it doesn't make sense if people don't understand this. But you can't live stream anything until you have 1,000 subscribers. Hold on a second. It's going to get a little loud. I could be wrong. They may have changed it, but I think it's 1,000 subscribers. But then, if you have a mobile connection, you're limited to 720 resolution, which is honestly garbage. I mean, we're already used to seeing stuff in 1080. So you see something in 720, it looks terrible. So I'd have to live stream it here, because my phone right now is connected, or my computer is connected to the internet here. And even though it's not any faster than my 5G connection on my phone, as soon as YouTube detects, hey, that's a mobile connection, it's going to dumb it down to 720. There's nothing I can do about it. So we don't play here. We play at someone else's house, and I can't live stream and it be any better than 720. So I just film and then upload. Otherwise, I would live stream. That would be my preference. You're a science guy to an extent. I have my interest in science. I wish I was better at math because I would have enjoyed astrophysics. The only time a solar battery explodes, you literally stab it. But that's with every battery. I know some batteries can swell, just don't know which ones or what they're called. That is the wonder of using model railroad stuff for miniatures. You get so much value for oftentimes less than the chain supplies sell stuff for. I actually saw some stuff today, some tufts made by Vallejo, and they were more expensive, and you got less of them than any of the other ones that I have. So, okay, so here is the SDKFZ 222, or Panzer Spa 2. Did I say 222? 232, or the Panzer Spa-Wagen 232. Oh, we got to do one thing. We got to put the antennae there. The antennae. And see if we can get some that are roughly the same the correct shape. I made so many of these the other day. Where's my X-Acto knife? Okay, and we wanted this, when I checked the references, about twice as high. I think that's right. Yeah, now I'm second guessing myself. Let's get out the Stug book. Let's find a picture of this little stubby joker. And find a picture that shows him. I think it's twice as high as the vehicle. It's got to be kind of close. Well, that was useless. Well, before I make the wrong thing, okay, let's do a picture search for Stug 3E. Show me images. And show me one that has an antenna on it. Well, that's a Lego one. That's useless. I don't need to see a picture of a Lego one. It looks to be about the same. Oh, here's one. It's about the same height. It's about the same height as it is thick. About the same height as it is thick. So we'll cut it there. We'll cut that one there. Let's flip it around so the thicker portions towards the back, and that should work just fine. And let's grab a little bit of super glue. Let's get underneath here. And let's put this little dab way away from my work area. Let's just dab the end in. It's like an insect now. But that's just a little thing you can do to give it some more three-dimensionality. Got fed up with the player characters and 5E being superheroes. All right. We'll let this sit. And now they can join the multitude of Shermans that I have. And the Stug 4. Now, I'm going to stand away from it so I can see what I'm looking at. I'm really surprised how well the armored car looks. It was a piece of shit model. It really was. It was a resin piece of crap. You know, it's got some weathering. It's not heavy. I don't want it heavy. I want it to look like a gray vehicle. You know? I mean, yes, there's some vehicles you find pictures of that are just embarrassing. You know? If you were a German tank crew and your tank was that dirty, they'd send you to the Eastern Front if you weren't already at the Eastern Front. All right, let's put these guys back in the case. Let's get them out of harm's way here. And just like that, I got over 8 vehicles. That's how you kick things out of the park. Yeah, we'll take pictures of them tonight. After the filming. God, that thing is heavy. Really, really heavy. All right. I said I had something for you. At the risk of going in every direction at once, I'm actually gonna, let me black brush these two guys. Let me do the black on them, and then I'll go do that. We're gonna pull out some 234s. No radio antenna. I can't find one. I think I couldn't find one. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but if I find a picture of it, we can add it later. Doesn't make any sense to me, Joe. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and black coat these with the we just spray painted them, and of course we missed all kinds of stuff because you can't use spray paint for that and expect to get everywhere. So we're gonna black coat these, and then we're gonna go mess with some Russians. I'm being a tease. Yeah. Well, the thing is I want to paint these guys, right? Because I want to try the brown camo on this guy. This is going to be dark gray with brown, and it's not going to be crazy. It'll be subtle. Again, I want to kick this joker out of the park. That's some empowering shit, being able to perform minor miracles. And I'm gonna need to let it dry, so that'd be a perfect time to put some T-34s together. Ooh, what in the world? We got a mess on our hands, boy. Let's make sure we don't have any loose pieces of... Now, we had a near disaster with this black stuff yesterday, so let's be conscious of it and not put it on the right side of my body that it could end up getting knocked around. And we're going to use, let's use this one right here. Speaking of Catherine Winnick, I'll ask you this because maybe you know. What's that mystery thing that she's in? And it's kind of like a... I was going to watch that, not because she was in it, but it looked like it had some appeal to it. Almost like a... what's that show from the late 80s? Twin Peaks. It was almost like a Twin Peaks type thing. You know what I'm talking about? It came out about a year ago. Was it any good? Have you seen it? Did you watch it just because she's in it? I pretty much got just about everything on the whole. Although, to be honest with you, I hope it sucks because I don't really need to be distracted by watching television. Big Sky, that's the one. Yep. Any good? Haven't seen it, to be honest. I heard Twin Peaks, but I haven't seen it or Big Sky. I tried watching Twin Peaks. I never saw it when it was out. And it was way too slow. And very, very dated. Some things from that period do really well. Some things are just like, man, what is this, like 1979? And that I kind of felt that way with Twin Peaks. Just didn't grab me. Just didn't grab me. All right, here is the Panzer IV F2. which apparently came out in May. By July 1942, it was no longer referred to as the F2. It was referred to as a G. It was the early G. Didn't know that. We're going to do the brown camouflage really light. It's not going to be super prominent. Not a whole lot of contrast anyways between dark gray and brown. And see what it looks like. Got to be careful. This was primed at one point, or I started painting it with dark gray straight on here 20 years ago, so I don't want to cover up any extra detail that I don't have to. All right. And then the same thing with this guy. That one mystery that I really liked, but I never did get to see the last episode, was The Dig with Jason Isaacs. And I rather enjoyed that. I thought it was really well done. But I never saw the last episode. Watched the first 9, never saw the last one. I think it was on live TV and I didn't catch it. I'm sure at some point it'll come back on and I'll have to watch the whole damn thing again because it'll be so forgotten. I was thinking of playing a video game tonight. I may do that later on because I got to stay up late waiting for the daughter to get home. So, unless I could just keep painting, that's honestly better use of my time, but I just have no patience for grindy games. Games where it's like, grind again, like, World of Tanks or War Thunder or something like that. Like, man, I don't want to grind like that. It gets old. Yeah, the problem with creating your own world is if you got players that don't appreciate it, then they can go piss up a rope. I went into that store, that local game store, a couple months ago, and I saw that they had repackaged some of those old D&D modules that I remember as a kid, like 14 or 15 years old. I don't think it was even 15. I think it was 14 years old. And Keep on the Borderlands. I think Keep on the Borderlands would be a great miniatures game. They put them like in one big tome. I guess when I played it, none of it was D20. It was all, D4, D6, D8, D12. Rick, I don't know if Rick hangs out on weekends. He's got something better to do, maybe. I don't. I might as well do this. I just don't have much of an interest in video gaming anymore. 5 years ago, I'd be like, oh, there's a new download for Borderlands. Let's play Borderlands, which, I'm actually a fan of Borderlands. But at the end of the day, you don't have anything to show for it. And I still want to finish these because I want to get more vehicles. And my mom won't let me get more until I get... No. I want to knock some of this stuff out before I get more. It's not like I have things I don't want to paint. I came close to ordering a kit anyways. I said, well, I won't find anything at the store, and I'll just order a kit instead. It'll be cheaper. But I think we got all the important parts. And we're going to dry brush the shit out of it when we're done. We just got to make sure that there's no nooks and crannies that aren't black, because they're going to get left that color. Tiny Tina. Oh, we got something to talk about. Tiny Tina is the funniest character in that game. I think you should keep riding the wave of interest. Knock out as many of those World War II vehicles as you can. I get them mixed up. I never played the first one. I played the second one a lot. And the prequel one. And this third one, the thing is that unlike a game like Diablo, I've played that game all the way through and didn't feel the need to switch characters. In the second one, I played the dude that can throw down what's his name? The Herzog or whatever. I don't remember what his name is. No, I don't think his name is Herzog. The dude that can throw down like the little mini turret. Even though I should have played the freaking Snake Eyes Ninja looking dude. Whatever his name is. O or Zero or whatever it is. So I played him with the little turret. Then in the prequel, I played Athena, the girl with the shield. And mainly playing her because the character was attractive. Hey, it's a reason. And the third one, I'm playing the Irish dude. The Irish dude, which is pretty funny. I saw some of those people, not that I'm into cosplays, and I'm not, but I've seen people that do some of the cosplays for those characters with the cell animation. Some of the stuff's pretty good. There's somebody who does a Maya that's really cute. Just saying. 1 out of like 60 I've seen, you know. I don't mind going to a game convention. I don't think I'd want to go to a cosplay convention. That's a little weird. But I do like that cell animation. I think it's super cool. I think it's super cool, but yeah, there's some funny dialogue for sure. I like the D&D one. There was a D&D module, I think, in the second one, and I think it was a Tiny Tina thing, and it was pretty funny. I just don't feel the reason to play other. It's a little too grindy. It's a little too grindy for my taste. I've never played the games, but I've seen some videos on them. Have you played Tiny Tina's Special Quest game? There's a D&D one that came out a couple years ago for either the prequel or the second one. I've played that one all the way through, and it's pretty cool. It's really pretty cool. There's one that just came out within a year, and I haven't played that one. But Borderlands 3 is not as good, as the storyline is. The villains are just kind of... Actually, honestly, the storyline of the game is better than Gaslands. It's, you know, the similarity type of stuff, and, you know, the thugs. The thugs are really, really funny. The thugs have some great dialogue. The thugs you fight and stuff like that. There's some funny dialogue in the game. There's no doubt. But it's a cross between Diablo and a first-person shooter and a science fiction type of world, you know, with really inappropriate shit. It's, you know, it's Deadpool level inappropriate dialogue, which of course means it's hilarious. Bunkers and badasses. I don't know what that is. Burrows and badgers, you're saying? I'd play that. Who is it? Eureka. Eureka makes like these frogs that Eureka Miniatures in 28 millimeter. Not that I'm painting 28 millimeter stuff, but they make these like frogs and shit. I'm a fan of frogs. Frogs are cool. That ride turtles and shit like that. It's Scott in our group that cannot stand anamorphic things. I think that I think it'd be okay. I wouldn't want them if they were hunting humans, because I'm not a fan of, like, you know, Mother Nature paying humans back. I'm not a fan of that type of thing. But if it's just animals fighting other animals, yeah, I'm all for it. Scott's the one that doesn't like it, though. I guess he had a bad childhood experience or got touched by a furry or something. I think it's cool as long as, you know, you're playing some kind of a creature that you could make it sound, and, you know, and you could make the creature sound when it does appropriate things. Just like when I'm playing Odago, you know, with my medieval Irish, and he goes on the attack, you know, you get to bark like Odago. It's just part of the experience, part of being silly. anamorphic, something like that. All right, let me go rinse these things. That's the name of the Dungeons & Dragons game Tiny Tina was playing. Bunkers and Badasses. She's pretty funny. I mean, she's like a 13-year-old kid that just... And she doesn't cuss all the time, but man, she's definitely on cocaine. Definitely. We're going to rinse these out. Be right back. Those guys definitely had a lot of fun putting the dialogue in those games together. You can tell. You can tell when you see something like that. You're like, man, those guys really enjoyed their work. Like, the guys that film, what's the name of that superhero show that I can't seem to get through the third season of? The Boys. You know the guys that work on The Boys, they're having a hell of a great time. Because the dialogue in that game, in that show is hilarious. It can be hilarious. I don't know why. I've just kind of lost interest in the third episode. I honestly forget about it. It's watching television. I'd rather be doing this stuff. All right. While those dry, time for some Russians. All right? And we're going to go about this methodically. There can be madness, but there's got to be method. So these are the books that are awesome. Skirmish campaigns. And they apparently don't make them anymore, or they're slowed down or something like that. And in here, there's a bunch of scenarios for 1941 with the Germans and the Soviets that have some T-34s in them. And I believe they're in sets of 3. And these would be the model 1940 ones. So like this one, for instance, has 3 T-34s in it. German forces have a couple Panzer IIs, a couple Panzer IVs short barrel, 4 Panzer IIIGs, versus 3 T-34s, a T-28, and some other stuff. So I believe 320. I'm going to see if any of these scenarios have more than 3 T-34s, and I don't think so. So I'm definitely going to put 3 T-34 1940s together. That's what we're going to do. It just seems like they're in sets of 3s. All right, where's that pile of lead? I just feel like putting something together. That's so wrong. All right. That's a B. That's another B. Here's the A. There's another A. Here's the third A. Now, I normally don't weenie out about stuff like this, but I've been thinking. There's all kinds of warnings with these containing lead. And I'm concerned that I need to just be careful doing this. So I'll be right back. That doesn't seem like a fair fight. I think the Germans need a couple of Tigers. Yeah, well, the crews on these guys suck. So, you know. Training level 4. That's no bueno. Okay, I'll be right back. Wash your hands with soap after you're done handling the metal stuff. Just don't rub your eyes or anything. What's it do? Make you go crazy? I'm there! I'm sure all the miniatures that I played with when I was a kid, you know, pre-1990, all had lead in them. And I haven't killed anybody yet. Let's see what we're dealing with. Let's see what we're dealing with these models. Oh, hold on a second. These is the 1941 model. Well, if these are the A, no, we want the 1941. Not that there's anything wrong with these. If we're going to do stuff in 1941, early Barbarossa, we'll have the earliest ones we can get. Okay, it's just the ones that are flat 194, not 194A. No, shit, I found something else I need to do. Well, we'll leave that tomorrow. I want to spray a Panzer III-L. I don't think it'll make you go crazy, but develop a case of lead poisoning, which would be bad. Oh man, I wanted to go crazy. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Yeah, this is a little barrel. All right, let's not. I'm overthinking this. All right, we're going to use this one. This is a different color. It's white. This will be the one that we work on lead things on. Okay. Pull one of these out. Hell, this was probably packed by somebody who had lead all over their hands, and now the container's also contaminated. All right, we don't need to keep this. And then we'll put this thing away. Well, that's not what I was expecting. These fuel containers on the back. Yeah, see, look. Look at this. You could like write on it with this stuff. It's like a 2B pencil. Okay. Russian tanks have the small wheel towards the front. Oh, okay. They go both ways. Woo! I was like, man, I got one that's I got two of them that are the correct, are the wrong size. Yeah, they're unidirectional. They go both ways. This thing's got a shitload of flash. A couple of tree trunks. It's got the little spot here for a radio. I know damn well these things didn't have radios. It's a good looking vehicle. I think the early T-34 is a good looking vehicle. What's this guy look like? It's not a bad figure. Well, the real thing is if I'm going to do three of them, there's no reason why I can't make one of them have a commander sticking out. All right. Let's do a couple things. I'm not convinced on these fuel things. I don't think that the early ones had the fuel. Let's move this off to the side and get our T-34 book. You love the sound of metal miniatures hitting the table. Yeah, not plastic. Grab my T-34 book. And I bet I'm not going to find a model 1940 that has those fuel things on it. But that's fine because we can use them for one of the other models T-34s. I have Sherman book, Panzer IV book. Where's my T-34 book? No, nope, 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 nope. Nope. Nope, there it is. Last one. Figures. And this one. And this one. Oh. No, the ones that have the fuel tanks are probably like from Stalingrad on. And the square ones, the square fuel things, which those things had to leak like crazy. The round ones, yeah, the round ones are going to be like Kursk and later. Okay. T-34 in action. Squadron signal. This is a Model 41. We want a Model 40 like this guy, which is funny. Actually, this is not a 41. This is the one that had the flat turret on the back. There was the STZ that some of them were manufactured in Stalingrad, and they just went right out. Not even painted. Steel. No rubber on the road wheels. Yeah, here it is. T-34 Model 40. This had the 11 caliber, 76.2 millimeter gun. Aside from the mechanical bugs that plagued the Morozov team, the L-11 gun of the T-34 Model 40 did not live up to design specifications. In 1939, P. Muraviev of the V. Graben Design Bureau at Zavod number 92 in Gorky developed the excellent F-34, which that's the gun that's normally in the T-34. The F-34, 76.2 millimeter gun to fit in a T-34, and trials were very successful. Both Zavod number 92 and the KHPZ had tooled up to begin supplementing the Zavod number 185 L-11 guns with the F-34, but according to Graben's memoirs, none of the relevant bureaucrats would take the responsibility for authorizing the new gun, or they'd be shot. Graben and Maksarev decided to proceed anyway. Official sanction to do so did not come until after the outbreak of war. When Soviet tankers sent letters of praise for the F-34, the longer gun, in the meantime, the F-34 armed T-34 Model 41s were produced alongside nearly identical T-34 Model 40s with the L-11. I didn't know that. They were produced at the same time. The F-34 armed T-34s were initially used as platoon and company commander vehicles. Interesting. The first of these was finished in February 41 by KHPZ number 183. By late summer, the F-34 had totally replaced the L-11. Okay, so by the time Barbarossa kicked off, they weren't making any more of these. In the spring of 41, V. Busolov and V. Nitsenko developed an unarmored cast turret for the T-34, which brought the armor bases up to 52 millimeter. This entered production in June 1941, alongside the standard welded turret. Is this one welded? Looks like it. While early runs of the Model T-34 Model 40 with its cast turret, oh, I guess it's a cast turret. With its cast turret, had an integral side vision port. Okay, I see it there. There on the side. On later batches, this was a welded addition on the welded turrets. The Model 3441, why is it talking about that in the Model 40 section? Okay. The commander's periscope in the roof was omitted. The Stalingrad Tractor Works, STZ, produced its first T-34 in 41. These are basically similar, but few minor details. The welded turrets produced at STZ were simplified by using a single flat plate at the rear, and the hull plates were interlocked before welding due to different styles of jig assemblies. Okay, so do we have again, here's another model of it. No fuel tanks on it. Here's a disabled one. Big picture. No fuel tanks. You've seen this picture before. This is one of each. This has a 40 and a 41 on it. Both of them look like they got stuck in a bog. Neither one has fuel things. I'm not putting fuel things on it so far. Next book. This is a pretty one. This is one of the military book clubs one, but this one was done by Concord. This is a Concord book. It doesn't say it on here, but Concord Publications. These are relatively new. Well, 97. That's new compared to the other books. Let's see if we got any on here. Of the early one. They don't even have a color plate of it. It looks like they're going to be barren with no boxes so far. It's fine. We'll save the boxes for some of the other models. Yeah, this is what the boxes look. I actually like the way they look. But this is a Mickey Mouse one, which is like the one they had at Kursk. Yes, I got them when I was modeling. Still modeling. Yeah, there's no reason to get rid of books, ever. Here's the 42 version. Has a little handles for the infantry to hang on. Those are cool. Is that a KV2? No, it just looked like it. Any early ones? Any early ones? Nope. none of these early. Here's one. No fuel. I'm not putting them on there. Last book. I mean, I'm not throwing them away. They go on one of the other ones. This kind of shit's fun to do, though. Oh, this has some beautiful pictures, too. The style. Who's the artist in this? Peter Sarson. Good thing for him. Oh, man, the ultimate insult. Have one of your T-34s captured by Italians. It's a 41 by Italian 62nd Gruppo. 120th Reggimento di Artiglieria. So 120th Artillery Regiment. Okay, here's an early one. No, it's not. I bet I'm not going to find one. Doesn't have it here again. No fuel tanks. Sold! No fuel tanks. Man, this thing's got a lot of flash. Tank commander. Hatch closed. This one's not going to have any trunks on it. All right, let's get... Oh, this one's brand new. Let's not do that. Let's actually not even use this X-Acto knife. Nice thing about the Russian tanks is, guess what? I don't have to use decals. You can just paint those sloppy things on there. Put all those sayings on the side, like, you know, your mother was a hamster, or whatever. Your mother was a hamster. Your mother wears Crocs. Prefer the look of the round fuel cans. One of my favorite vehicles is actually a Soviet tank. Quite fond of the Soviet SMK and would love to build one. Is that the one they only made one of? There's another one like a SU-100Y or some shit like that. I almost picked up a book at the book place called Panzer Operations by a German general called Raus. And I didn't because I heard he's full of himself. So that's intellectually dishonest. And so I just got the audio book instead. But I started reading it on the way back from J-Town today. Yeah, I gotta make sure these filings don't go everywhere. It's not freaking cancer. I'll be okay. I've dealt with this stuff before. I'd rather be a little bit more cautious. Now, that certainly looks like an antenna, but we all know that these Soviet vehicles were not fond of antennas. I'm not going to just take that machine gun out, but I don't want that flash underneath it. So I'm going to attempt to cut it, and if the machine gun breaks, I'll just replace it with sprue. Because I can't have the bottom of that solid. That's unacceptable. That's absolutely unacceptable. I don't really want to mess up the tow hooks. Now, these are technically boring vehicles. I'm not going to make them boring. This is definitely an old school vehicle. It's got the light on there and everything. They don't give you separate pieces for that. Just mold that stuff on there. And that's what I hate about these little mini files. I got some small files and none of them fit underneath that. Unfortunately, this little driver's hatch, you can't open it, so you can't have one of those guys in there poking his head out like, hello! Just as a round goes right in there. Whoops! In Soviet Russia, a hamster makes fun of you. I do have metal files, but they just don't fit underneath there. They don't fit underneath there. Warm water and soap, huh? I think I'll try that. Although I'll be honest with you, I've never done it before, but why not? Well, unfortunately, these have a lot more cleanup than I would like them to have. But it's just one of those things. I'm not gonna. The files aren't gonna work. They're too big. Even the small ones are too big. Okay, that's pretty much cleaned up good enough there. This machine gun's a little thicker than I'd like it to be, but it's gonna keep bending. I've done a lot of stuff this weekend that's like almost like cleaning teeth. dentistry. Jeez. I don't really want to get all this dust in the air anyways, so probably filing is probably a bad idea anyways. I got like 9 of these. So at some point, I may actually do a captured one. One of the, if I remember correctly, there's one of the units at Kursk that was on the south end, on the right flank. Might have been 6th Panzer Division. Like the first day of the attack, at night, if I remember correctly, went in and advanced pre-dawn. And they led their column with a captured T-34. Again, if I remember correctly. So the Russians were confused because of the silhouette. Still the same. Even though it may have German markings, you can't see those at night. Now the part I'm not looking forward to is this piece of flash. Because if one of them is higher, which it looks like it is, just have to do the best I can do. Looks okay on this end. Now, I know damn well this has a coax machine gun, but there's no hole for it. Looks like it's on the right side of it. Inside the mantlet. Be nice if the mantlet matched. Why is everything got to be complicated? If you're going to do it right. Oh, this is the stud one. This one. There it is. Sticking out just a little bit. And it's oblong. Wonderful. And it's even with the center of the gun. Alright. Yep. Excuse me if I don't make it oblong. Alright, where is the pin vise we were using this morning? And all the drill bits. Now I will take the good one because I want to put a starter hole in here. So I don't do that. Well, that sounds like a piece of shit. This doesn't have to be very deep. Just enough to give the impression that it's hollow. There we go. That's enough. And we'll put a little piece of sprue there. Just so it sticks out a tiny little bit. Uh-oh. So you do all your pewter miniatures? What, wash them? I've never done it. I'm not opposed to doing it. If you have use of a hairdryer, you dry them immediately afterwards. Be good at putting them together. Okay, cool. Thinking I'm going to do something crazy, build my 48th Heinkel H-16. Why does that sound like one that's got a couple torpedoes on it? With the landing gears up and is flying around the ground. Have to figure out how to make a flight stand. Must be the night for that. Had some piece of crap car drive up in front of the house and it sounded like it was going to die. It's rare. I mean, I don't know if it's a major road, but it is a connecting road. And I don't really live in a town that has noisy piece of shit vehicles driving around, but I guess it's the night for it. You're right. Must be the night. Doesn't have to be perfect. We just need to. It is made in the Russian factory, after all. This is this thing I used to say all the time. I don't remember what it is anymore. It goes something along the lines of... I don't remember how it goes, honestly. People says to me, Yuri, why do you shoot the people in the face? Oh, it's fun and good for Soviet cause. Something like that. I don't remember. It's been 2 decades since I've played Soviets. And they are a lot of fun. I do not mind playing Soviets. They're fun at party. Okay, is that a piece of flash? It most certainly is. This one will be one of the close-hatched ones. Okay. It's a cute little turret. In Soviet Russia, perfection is frowned upon. Favorite Soviet? I don't know. I think the T-34-85 is a good-looking vehicle. It's certainly a good gun. It's like, finally, they have a medium tank with a 3-man turret. Hallelujah. Now the shells are really heavy. Like, son of a bitch. Alright, that's going to need to finish like that. And so's that one going to need to finish like that. I think we can get away with. And the other thing you can do is you can take this little piece of sheet metal out like right here and have it missing a fender. We won't do that on this one, but there'll be some that'll be missing a fender. Like I said, there's ways you can make these guys different, you know? Give them some personality. I honestly say I've never played Soviets in all the World War II games I played, and I've played the Germans against the Soviets. What do you got against the Soviets? Well, I mean, they suck, but I mean, other than that, that's going to be a pain. I've done it before, but yeah, it's a pain. You know what's a pain? This that I'm doing. It's okay. It's, we're not in a hurry. We don't have to get these guys done by a certain time. I got to stay up until like another 3 hours. I'm still going to get up at 5. Want to put me in a bad mood? Let me wake up late. Oh, I'm pissed. That's what we wanted to do. Let's turn this back. There. All right, we'll drill this machine gun later. This machine gun's super thick and that one won't be. Soviet quality control. All right, that's one. Now see that? That's the lead shit. I'm actually going to stop between these, and I'm going to sweep this stuff up with a vacuum. Oh, that guy's a badass. Hey, Kev. Plastic easier to mod. You got it. These were cheaper. Okay. There's one. What do I do with the other two? They are here. Lost your phone for a week. Wow, that's not good. No bueno. We're actually going to use, we're going to make one of the Model 41 ones as the Platoon Vehicle. That's what the book said. This one's... It's got gold in it. They melted it and it's got some gold in it. Woohoo! It struck it rich. Again. I'm not going to worry about the tree trunks at this point. I'm not saying I'm not putting them on there, just not worrying about them. Certainly not worrying about the fuel tanks. The fuel tanks don't belong on this model. Yeah, they fit down here like so. They don't belong on that model. Okay, the same shit that we did before. No, that's the good one. You wouldn't go crazy. I would. I'd be worried about being broke down somewhere. Wouldn't want to leave the house because I could break down somewhere and wouldn't be able to call anybody. Paranoia will destroy you. So I'm almost done with a book on Kiev, which by David Stahl. Which most of the book is about anything but the Battle of Kiev. It's not a boring book, though. Oh, is that lead rot? That might be lead rot. Well, it should be all right after we paint this thing, and we're gonna take your recommendation on scrubbing it. I heard that's a good thing. Oh, I don't know about using vinegar, white vinegar. God, I hate that stuff. This is going to be sealed from the air anyways. In Soviet Russia, paranoia is paranoid of you. What's the thing that I used to say on World of Tanks to get everybody all riled up when I was playing on the computer? And I was playing a Soviet tank in Soviet Russia. Not tank drives you, but something like that. I don't know. I used to get people all worked up about it. I tried playing that the other day, and it's totally different. I can't even find how to upgrade shit. Which is a shame, because I played it enough to have a Panther. I have a Panther. That's a lot of grinding to get to a Panther. And then you get it, and then it's like, oh, okay. Cool. I should be able to penetrate things. Oh, no. You're playing a Panther, and they're using experimental, like, tanks that have armor that a Panther can't even penetrate. I'm like, great. Why even play with better tanks, then? You gonna do one as if it got hit and knocked out? Nope. You gotta earn that. Not yet. How you gonna knock out a T-34? That's a tall order. Well, you know, all these distances are under 100 meters. You know, 100 meters is, what, 50 inches away? So 50 inches away is 100 meters, so most of the shots are under 100 meters. This is what I'm not thrilled about. And this is a harder alloy than the other one, which of course means it's got less lead in it normally. I hope all these machine guns are not like this. Does this one have it as well? Mother. No wonder they sold these things. I had half of mine just to take it out. I just don't want to do anything that's grinding and get all these little pieces airborne. Just you know, just to make sure. Man, this is being brutal. Being real brutal. In Soviet Russia, tank is bitch to you. .88s knock it out at any range. Panther's gonna knock it at any range. The problem is it's 1941. The 75 millimeter gun has some rounds of hollow charge. They could knock one out. Just don't mess with them. You may not even have one in your vehicle. They're pretty rare. Basically a heat round. Those could reliably take out a T-34. You just reliably didn't have one. Whoops. You know? Oh, this is messed up. No, it's the same bottom. Okay. Looked like it was different. We got to do the one that's going to be right here. And a lot easier drilling them and stuff like this. Not that this is much of a problem, because this is what I'm used to. This is the material I'm used to working with. So when you go to plastic, you're like, oh my gosh, this is a godsend. That side's pretty good, actually. It's this side that's difficult. You bastard. Well, tomorrow morning you should have a cool video to check out, if you're into that. It's only about 30 minutes long. Nothing horribly exciting, but just something a little different. Been wanting to do it for a while. Would have had Mitch with me, but sorry Joker works on weekends. And it's not my turn to watch him today. Panther had a high velocity 75. Smithsonian Channel has a documentary on Midway in color on. Shockingly, Enterprise lost half its flight crews in that battle. I was never a fan of that aircraft carrier. I don't mean anything disrespectful. I'm just, you know how you're a fan of some ships or some not and others? Never cared for the Enterprise. I was a Lady Lex guy. I like aircraft carriers that used to be a battle cruiser. Still with battle cruiser armor in some places. It used to have 8-inch guns. It used to have 8-inch guns and 2 double turrets in the front of the island and 2 behind. They got taken out just before Coral Sea. So she served 1941 like that. And they had her do some raids on some of the Japanese islands. Somebody got close and hit her with the 8-inchers. Wasp was another carrier that I liked. There was a one class thing. All I know is if I'm in charge of naming ships and a ship goes down, I'm not renaming it. Like, sorry, we lost one Yorktown. We're not building another one. Why? Because, you know, what if it's bad luck? Not that I believe in bad luck, but, you know. Don't need to piss off the universe. I hated that movie Midway. The new one, God, it was awful. That part with the whole bomb skipping off the deck and that nonsense. Come on, man. What kind of nonsense you take before. Man, this is going to be a problem. This one's going to be a problem. All right, we're going to punt on this one. Did we do this? We are going to go ahead and wash this thing. I got just the toothpaste for it. Toothpaste, just the toothbrush for it. And I didn't care what happened to that best guy. I didn't like the actor. It's like, that's the guy who played Francis in Deadpool. That guy's an asshole. Screw that guy. Francis. How nice. I can hear hoodlums outside making a fuss at 10 p.m. Hi, I sound like an old man shouting at clouds. It's not 10 yet. Hoodlums. I'll come join you on the porch when you sit on a rocking chair and bitch about utes. Loud thunder. I'll take hoodlums over lightning. You could shoot at hoodlums. You shouldn't, but can't do anything about lightning. All right. Let's see what this Platoon Vehicle looks like. Oh, we got some different stuff in here. Chili. Don't tempt me with a good time. What's different on this one? Anything? Is the frickin' hull the same? You bastard. This is really poor quality control. Like, you could barely even make out the wire. What do you got? Just a different turret? You got some... the little oil things. The ones you like. It doesn't even tell you where to put them on. Different commander or same commander? Same commander. Well, the hatch is different. Got the longer gun on this one. Everything else is the same. Yeah, these fit like so. Well, you know, we're going to look at some photographic evidence before we do it. We probably won't put any, since these are early and they were just rushed out there. They weren't prepared to be backstabbed by the Germans, but that's what you get for backstabbing the Poles, assholes. Not very sympathetic to the Russians. Or the Germans, really. They deserve each other. Yeah, it looks like the same hole. Same running gear, everything. Now, some of the later ones actually have some of the metal things on there. Alright, I've messed around with these guys long enough to tickle my fancy. Let me get a little box to put them in. And then we're going to go wash up, clean the area. Get a kick out of this. Look at this FT-17. Look how freaking small this is. Same scale. You believe getting two guys in there? One must be sitting on the other guy's shoulders. Is that a French thing? Guys sitting on each other's shoulders? Don't answer that. This thing's gotta be fixed. It's hard to believe two guys to fit in there. That's hard to believe. What's the name of that movie I didn't watch? Human Centipede. Just out of curiosity, what did I ended up paying by tank? About $7 a tank. Some I may have paid $5. I was helping somebody out and I was helping myself out. And this is just something you're never going to walk into a store and walk away with them. So. It could be a French thing. I don't know, French into weird things? Other than not shaving their pits? That's a deal breaker right there for me. If girls don't shave their pits, I'm not into girls all of a sudden. No, no. Alright, let's get rid of all this contamination-ary stuff. That's a great deal. Look for stuff on eBay. It'd be 5 times. Well, they're not available anymore. They're not the best quality things, but they used to retail for like $16. So, you know. Now, the Stug was $1. Several of the vehicles were $1 that were already like, we'll call them screwed up. We'll put this by itself. We'll go wash up. So many of these things because I figured I didn't lowball them. I'm like, how much do you want for them? And they were like, well, $10 a vehicle for these. And I was going to buy maybe 2 of them. And then I'm like, well, I don't really need them. I'm not trying to lowball them because I don't like that. I don't like, well, how much do you want for those? Well, how much do you want to pay me? Well, how much? No, I don't like playing that game. Just how much do you want? And it either works or it doesn't. And I'm like, $10, that was too much. I don't, you know. And then he's like, well, how about 5? And I'm like, fuck it, I'm taking them all. You know? So, these will, I don't want to spray this now because we learned our lesson. And you know, this one's like missing half of a road wheel. It's missing a half of a road wheel here, so we'll somehow put one together and it'll be fine. We'll probably use these spares for that. You know. But this is an L. We'll do this L in gray as well. Anyhow, we don't want to spray. Now, you want to see a massive thing? Here's this SU-100. This is a company called, God, what was the name of this company? I don't know. They were available at one point. But they're a Russian company, and they have, the road wheels are all thick, one-piece plastic. That's fine. You can't see them anyways. They got the right kind of tracks. They got the right waffle tracks. But it's huge. It's a huge vehicle, which I don't mind. It is an SU-100. I mean, like, physically, it should be the same size as the other T-34s. And it is significantly bigger. These are 1/72nd. Oh, look, here's a T-34. I've got the fender taken off of. I guess it's the right size. God, why does it look so freaking big? Well, it ought to look big. It's carrying a 100mm freaking gun, which was a good gun. I got two of those. I got two of these guys right here. These guys will look cool when we do them. Well, whatever brand this is, here are the infamous triangular screw holes. Must be a Russian thing. We don't have Phillips style. We have triangular style. And you can't undo it. So, well, we'll just paint the thing. We'll repaint it. Shame you can't have a little hatch up there. But I think it might be a 4-man vehicle. In Soviet Russia, skill creep is against party policy. Well, the tank has a new tank. Panzer III with tons of armor. No, they're 3-pen penetrate apparently. That antenna's bent. Yeah, they'll all be replaced. You play World of Tanks? With the vehicle I hated, I think it's in World of Tanks. Like a Panther hull with like a Panzer IV turret. That's just stupid looking. You know? Now, I did like the A-20s. It's basically a cross between a T-34 and a BT-5. That joker's fast. That's a good-looking vehicle, too. What else? I like the little duck-looking French tank. What, an AMX-40? But I grounded enough to get... I got a Sherman with a 76mm gun. I've got a T-34, like Model 43 with the long 57. That's a good weapon. But I actually don't like the damage modeling in World of Tanks very much. Because it's kind of hit points-ish. I think War Thunder does a better job with it. When you get a hit and you see how the shell like disperses and it like kills the crew and stuff like that. Am I going to putty the screw holes up? Nah, they're on the bottom. You hate the games that charge you money after you buy the damn thing. Actually, World of Tanks is free. If you want to buy those extra tanks, you have to spend real money on, which I never do. Like, why would I pay money for a free game? You know? Where the hell was I? Yes. Let's do a couple things. First of all, I'm tired of this freaking coffee. So let's put it away. Let me get some ice, and I got some half open Cokes, and we'll go to that. Be right back. The SU-76 was fun for a while. I like playing the Hetzer. Hetzer's pretty deadly at the tier it's at. What else do I remember? I gotta remember stuff. The problem with that game is it's not a fair representation of different things. Like, for instance, one thing that made the German tanks as good as they were is the 5-man crew. You take like a Panzer III, it's basically a piece of shit in that game. Because the communication between all the crew members just isn't there. You know? I mean, you can fire a tank that has less of a big crew just as fast. Well, I mean, the reload speed might matter, but... Yeah, I already washed them. I'm a big fan of washing my hands anyways. I think a lot of people weren't. And that's why COVID went crazy. But that's my unprofessional opinion. I like that they have hand sanitizer stuff everywhere. You know what? I wash my hands anyways. Let's make your favorite sound. You can never have your hands too clean. Yeah. Well, that brown shit, that black shit isn't, gray shit isn't on my fingers anymore. I will wash them though. That's a good idea. Okay. These guys are done with the wash. So we need to dry brush the gray on them again. Okay? To get said tank with $300 real money? That's stupid. I don't believe people are using their real money. I think it's somebody like, you know, some rich kid. It's like, you know, has some ridiculous allowance. I didn't even have an allowance growing up. Some punk ass kid. Some punk ass kid with some parent that doesn't even beat them when they misbehave. German gray. Here we go. We're going to hand paint the numerals on these guys because the area that they go in is so small. We're going to put them underneath this periscope. They're either going to be white or yellow. No highlighting, or no outlines or nothing. Just probably white. You had an allowance, but I had to do chores to get it, like I take the trash out, etc. What's the chore you had you like the least? Mine was watering plants. I fucking hated watering plants. Because you just stand in there just freaking, you know. Let me do anything other than water plants. That's why as an adult, I'm not watering no freaking plants. We're just going to go over with just standard Panzer Gray, the same color that we did before. I probably need to just take those machine guns off and put sprue, don't I? Make my life a lot easier. Well, I can worry about that later. I mainly just wanted to take them out of the packaging because I hadn't even really looked at them since I got them. Just something else to do. But that's why I couldn't pass that stuff up. You know, I have a lot of self-control. I have not had it before. And then, I got all this stuff and I'm like, well, I went about it the wrong way. But I'll learn my lesson. But then when somebody throws something at me that isn't available, that's just great. And we'll have to replace 2 jacks. We'll do that later. Not available in stores anymore. And they're out of business. And these guys are out of business too. It's just weird that I had one of these Panzer IIFs and then they had another Panzer IIF. That one that I stripped, that one was $1. I'm like, I'm not leaving that. What's the worst thing that can happen? I try like snow camouflage and I ruin a vehicle that I paid $1 for. Okay. And, I wish I didn't have to buy him to begin with. The guy'd still be alive. But I think the people that were selling it was... Well, the unpainted stuff was... He had a couple of brothers. The one guy had a couple of brothers, and they were selling his stuff. And the other guy was just a family friend with a older gentleman. But... it's just sad to see how much shit we collect through our lives, and then when you pass on, like, nobody cares about it. Oh well. Maybe just doing this shit, I can inspire somebody to not quit the hobby or something after I'm not around. I don't know. Think about something a little happier. I don't dwell on stuff like that too much because it's just kind of morbid and kind of fucked up if you get down to it. My daughter does call me in a panic today, and she's like, Dad, did you hear something about nuclear this or nuclear that? I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, something about it's all over social media. So I looked down there and I'm like, no, hadn't happened yet. Although I was at a game convention at, when we had our game convention, and I think the spring recon was in Cocoa Beach. And Hurricane was in Orlando. And I was down there at Cocoa Beach when a rocket launched. And it was about, 4 miles away, 5 miles away. It was like the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life. And the first thing I thought of is, oh, Obama fucked up. That's the very first thing I thought about. I'm like, oh, he done blew it. We're at war now. 'Cause that's what it sounded like. It just sounded like, something super loud thing. This was like 2009 when it happened, so. Give me $25. You gotta do this. You gotta strike. I got $5 to mow lawn. You gotta strike when the iron is hot, Tony. I passed on getting all the Command Decision books, which I regret a lot. I only bought what I interested in the time. No yard now. Paint Homeowner Association to do little there is. Haven't been to Orlando since 1996. Yeah, there's a whole lot of traffic with people that don't know how to drive, don't know where the hell they're going. That one. Let's do the turrets after we're done with the bodies. Do the bodies! Orlando's only 2 hours away. Worst thing about Orlando is getting on I-75 and dealing with everybody that wants to play with their phone instead of pay attention and drive. You only allowed one fatal mistake. You only get one. I think I've officially given up on mowing my own lawn because I got to mow it like 3 times. And I don't have time to mow it 3 times. Each time mow it 3 times because it's so freaking thick. I'm like, I don't have time for that. And the last time I tried to mow it, it was raining every single day. It was before the storm. And I'm like, all right, it's not going to rain. It's not going to rain. At the last minute it rained. I can't mow. Son of a bitch. You know, you could mow in the rain. The problem is it's so plush. If you got grass that's so plush that you got to mow it over 3 times to get it down, it's not going to be able to get mowed correctly and when it's wet. That's just a foregone conclusion. We may need to stop because of neck. 9 times a year? More than 9 times a year for sure. Every other week. Generally don't have to mow after Halloween until maybe sometime in March. But it's every other week. After that. Mow 2 lawns every week, but only have to do that for another 2 weeks. Then it'll be week to week until the weather's consistently below 60 during the day and night. Give me those cold nights. I'm actually okay with the heat in the daytime. I don't like it, but at least there's a reason. But when it's like dark like this and it's 82 freaking degrees, that's just rude. That's just rude. Currently 56. You dickhead. Oh man, I wish it was a high of 56. In the daytime. It literally was. After the storm came, actually like the day after the storm, it was cool. And then we had another day that was coolish. And then it went right back into like, I mean, if you go out there right now, what is it? 69. Okay, well, that's not terrible. Last week, it was in the 80s at night. Like, still, swamp. You can't go out there and miss something in your car. You come back and you smell like a shrimp salad. Just, like, why would somebody live here? Why would somebody live here? I mean, there's no gold. So I say, my ancestors came here 500 years ago, and like, there's no gold here. It's like, F this. We'll come back when the air conditioning's been invented. There's a piece of something there. I'm going to take care of that. And then bugs. Just freaking bugs everywhere. Like, And then when you get older, you get cold all the time. I just want to know when that's going to happen. I just want to know, when's that going to happen? Sign me up. I always kid, I want to live somewhere. You got to shove ice cubes up your ass to stay warm. Think on that for a little while. That's cold. Your gold washes up on the beaches sometimes after storms. I think you're here wrong. And let's get the point right. Who gives a shit about gold? You want stuff to buy with it, right? So you might as well just skip a step. Have that stuff wash up that you want, you know? I'll tell you what, they probably had a lot of things that washed up on the beaches in Fort Myers. And those beaches were beautiful. I bet they're dangerous. Glass. And you see these pictures of people in the storm. They're like wading around in like water that's like over their knees. That's freaking dangerous, man. Forget sharks. You got like shards of glass. Just stuff broken. I'm not even talking about, needles and sharks. I'm talking about stuff that you're gonna find. You're gonna find pieces of glass, nails, splinters of wood, all kinds of stuff. It's just freaking dangerous. And there's people walking around like, oh, look, it's a party. Prepare to be impaled, pal. Vlad the Impaler. Have I ever wreck dived any old wooden shipwrecks in Florida? I saw you have a scuba listed as interest. No, it's snorkeling. I've never done scuba. I would love to. I never have. Now I tell you what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't do cave diving. But in the ocean, I'm a big saltwater person. I like being on the salt water. I've never done it. I've never done it. It's very expensive, and we live far from the coast, and you can't do everything. And my wife would like it, and my daughter would like it. We're big, so snorkeling is poor man's scuba diving. We like doing that, scalping and all that saltwater stuff. Just don't get a chance to do it much often. And it takes time and dime. Time more than anything else. There's just not enough time to do everything. So I would love to do scuba. Saw on news, some of the beaches are closed because of the debris. Yeah, I can only imagine, man. And those beaches down there are freaking gorgeous. They're like they're amazing. The Atlantic, you think, oh, the Atlantic beaches suck compared to those. They really, really are nice. And I can only imagine. There's places we used to go down there, there's businesses that just, like, never happened. I mean, it was like they just ceased to exist. There's a little place in downtown in Fort Myers Beach. As soon as you come off onto the island, it's called, I didn't even know it was called this, Times Square. Okay, it's kind of like a little Y. You get on there and you can either go right and go towards one end, which is normally where we would stay, and it's maybe only 3/4 of a mile. I don't think it's even a mile all the way to the end. It's 3/4 of a mile and then it basically ends. That's towards Sanibel, but doesn't connect through there. Or you go to the left and it goes down I'm going to call it a key, but it's really like an island, offshore of the main part of Florida. And of course, between the two, there's the it's still salt water, but it's kind of the lagoon, so to speak. But it's just kind of the inner side. But that little Y there is called. I didn't know that. We've been there. I don't know 6 or 7 times probably. But we used to go for 4th of July every year, like 5 years in a row, just before the pandemic. I think we went in 20. We may have gone one time after the pandemic. We might have gone in 2020. And bunch of little shops, ice cream this, and there's a little Greek restaurant there, just gone. I mean, I wouldn't even say flattened. Flattened makes it sound like there's something left, just gone. There's like a city just it probably wasn't made very strong construction, and just doesn't exist. You can't even see any plumbing with the flyby. It's just really sad. Wouldn't do cave diving either. Would love to go diving and see some sharks up close. I'm not afraid of stuff like that as long as I'm not the only one out there. Honestly, I'd rather see a shark than barracuda. Barracuda are just weird. They're just like sharks always moving, right? So you can't be moving all the way around you. I've actually never seen a shark snorkeling, ever. Cool thing is if you come across turtles, man. Turtles are awesome. Turtles are incredible. Big fan of turtles. And squid, we've been snorkeling, and there's been, squid that are like from the tentacles to the head, they're about this big, and they're all like in this school. There's like 24 of them, and they're all like this, and they feel you're probably in like 25, 30 feet of water, and you can see them down there towards the bottom. And as you get close to them, kind of towards the surface or whatever, they'll like align themselves. They know that you're there, and they like align. And they're just cute little squid like this. They're not going to do anything to you, but they're all like in formation, almost like a squadron, and they come in and they align themselves with you, just getting ready to just go. And if you get too close to them, they're just going to expel that water and go in the opposite direction. But sea creatures are really cool. And most of them don't want to have anything to do with you. But cave diving, there's nothing to see. You could, get sucked somewhere else and you can't go, it's just nothing good can come from that. Nothing good can come from that. I've seen sharks up close, but only once have I encountered one in the world. It's all fun and games till you see something mean like a tiger shark or something like that. Those jokers are mean looking. I get it. They don't want to have anything to do with you either, generally, but we were on a Hobie Cat one time, and this turtle came up, surfaced like 3 feet away from us. It was freaking awesome. I'd like to swim with manatees. Never gotten a chance to do that. You gotta be careful with those creatures. And they get too friendly with you. And, I'm not going to hurt those creatures, but, people are dicks, and they get comfortable with people, and, and a lot of people are dicks. And they need to be a little bit more apprehensive so they don't get, taken advantage of. Dolphins, another creature that's awesome. Dolphins are awesome. There's something in tune with them and humans. You know, like dogs and stuff. I mean, they get each other. They really do. Largest fish we got are sturgeon. In Arizona? Really? Desert tortoise live 100 years, popular pets. I don't know. I don't have any pets, and it's just because I'm not a pet person, but it's sad to have something that lives that long. It's just basically a prisoner, you know? Yeah, dolphins pretty cool. Dolphins get people, man. There's some wavelength shit there, you know? What's that guy's name? Hold on a second. The guy off The Boys. The Aquaman guy. Episode with the freaking dolphins. Oh, those guys have a blast making that freaking show. Let's see, how wrong can we make this? And they brainstorm. No, we could do better than that. The Deep. That's what it is. The Deep and the dolphin. Yeah, dolphins are awesome. Now, the ones I don't care for killer whales. Those things attack all the cute creatures. I don't trust them jokers. And they screw with all the other animals. All the other sea animals. Except maybe a really big bull sperm whale. But even if they come out with a pack, that's a problem. But I'd like to swim with a sperm whale. Of course, they are predators, so, you know, you got to be, you know. That was one of those creatures I always liked as a kid. You know, battles between them and the squid at depth. Okay. Got the blue tinge on that. Yeah, I'm going to have to stop after I do this because this position I'm in, well, it doesn't help that I had it higher than I should have. White sturgeon brought in north to Arizona, 67, biggest freshwater ship, North America, 20 foot long, live 100 years. Lake Havasu. Why do I feel like I've heard of that? Well, the only lake I can think of in Arizona, and I know that there's many, but the only one I can think of is what? Lake Mead, right? That's at the top, and that one's got some drought or it's lost water over the years or bodies turning up on Lake Mead that the mob killed, right? Fat Tony's finally come up for air in his concrete shoes. Lake Havasu, bless you. You know, these tanks have so many creature comforts. They got pistol ports everywhere. They got vision blocks in different places. And the problem is that means they got weak points everywhere too. They got all kinds of places that could be shell traps. Okay, we're gonna rinse this brush. And we're done painting for tonight. I can already feel it in my shoulders. So, in Soviet Russia, lakefront property is commodity, comrade. That's right. In Soviet Russia, you cannot afford to pay attention. Okay, so this is going to be a pair of 3Fs. Stewart had many MGs. I don't know about 13, but they sure had a lot. See, they got a coax, a Hall machine gun, an AA machine gun. Now we're up to 3. Then a couple of them in the sponsons. Maybe 5. I don't know about 13. I got a lot done. Yeah, we had fun. I'm plenty awake. I just need to get in a different position. Soviet Russia, attention pays you. Yeah. Let's see how different those guys look with the finished color. Let's grab Stugi. Not that different. And we force the shadows. We're going to have to come in here with this Luftwaffe blue, add some sand, and pop some of these details, including basically making a fake aperture on the turret of the Panzer III, the lid on the Panzer III, the hatch, because it's just flat. So we're going to paint a black line in there and make it look like there's more there than's really there. But I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be all right. We're not going to put any divisional symbols on them, but I'm pretty sure that the 11th Panzer Division, the Ghost guys, used some of these in the invasion of Russia, and they're in one of the scenarios. One of the scenarios is all about them. I forget which one it is. One of the books involves the Ghosts at Smolensk. So the Ghost is them. This is a cool scenario. It's got burned out tanks, but no vehicles. This is a relatively small scenario. The Germans have a platoon headquarters squad and 1 assault team of pioneers. And the Russians have 2 rifle squads and a machine gun team, a medium machine gun team. It's a pretty reasonable pretty reasonable sized thing. So, could do a World War II trivia game where you stand instead of sit down if I wanted to stay on. I could play a video game. Yeah. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll come back. You know what? I gotta make sure the video's okay that I did. It should be uploaded by now. You guys can check that out. We'll sign off for tonight, and we'll be back on in the morning for you morning folks. But until next time, as always, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you guys soon.